The rain-slick streets of New York City shimmered under the sodium glow of streetlights, but inside the black SUV, Mia Carter's world was unraveling. Her knuckles whitened on the steering wheel as her phone buzzed incessantly, notifications piling up like debris in a storm. She didn't dare look, not yet, not when she was driving Elise Harper, the youngest CEO of a Fortune 500 tech empire, through Manhattan's chaotic arteries. Mia, 28, had always prided herself on keeping things simple. A former Marine, she traded combat boots for the polished leather of a private driver's uniform, finding solace in the rhythm of the city's pulse. But nothing could have prepared her for the chaos that erupted when a grainy photo of her holding open the car door for Elise, their eyes locked for a fleeting second, went viral. The internet, in its infinite frenzy, had decided they were more than driver and boss. They were a sheepa romantic fantasy spun by thousands of strangers online, complete with fan art, hashtags, and wild speculation. "Me Elise forever," Mia muttered under her breath, glancing at the rearview mirror. Elise, 29, sat in the back seat, her blonde hair catching the light like spun gold, her blue eyes scanning emails on her tablet with laser focus. She was untouchable, a corporate goddess who'd built HarperTech from a startup in her dorm room to a global juggernaut. Mia had been driving her for 6 months, and in that time she'd learned 2 things. Elise was fiercely private, and her presence made Mia's heart do things it hadn't done since her first crush in high school. "Everything okay up there?" Elise's voice cut through the hum of the engine, smooth and controlled, but with a hint of curiosity. Mia's eyes flicked to the mirror again, catching Elise's gaze. It was a mistake. Those eyes sharp, knowing always made Mia feel like she was being seen for the first time. "Just the usual traffic," Mia lied, forcing a smile. Her phone buzzed again, and she silenced it with a quick jab. The last thing she needed was Elise seeing the flood of notifications tagging them in fanfiction or, worse, the edits of them set to sappy love songs. How had a single moment her helping Elise out of the car at a gala turned into this? It started 3 days ago. A paparazzo snapshot had hit Twitter, captioned, "Is Elise Harper's driver more than just her driver? Eyes me Elise forever." The internet exploded. Fans dissected every glance, every accidental touch. Mia had laughed it off at first, scrolling through the absurd comments in her tiny Brooklyn apartment. But then the memes turned into stories, the stories into art, and the art into a movement. Strangers were invested in a love story that didn't exist. Or did it? Mia's heart thudded as she pulled up to HarperTech's sleek headquarters, the glass tower gleaming like a beacon. She stepped out, rain dampening her jacket, and opened the back door. Elise emerged, her navy coat brushing Mia's arm as she passed. The contact was brief, electric. Mia's breath hitched, and for a moment the city's noise faded. "Thank you, Mia," Elise said, her voice softer now, almost intimate. She paused, her eyes searching Mia's face. "You've been distracted today. Anything I should know?" Mia swallowed hard. Tell her about the internet's obsession? Admit that the fans' fantasies weren't entirely baseless, at least on Mia's end? She'd spent months burying her growing feelings, convincing herself it was just admiration for Elise's brilliance, her strength. But the way Elise looked at her now, like she could see through every wall Mia had built, made denial impossible. "Just a long day," Mia said, her voice steadier than she felt. Elise nodded, but the faintest smile tugged at her lips, like she knew there was more. As Elise disappeared into the building, Mia's phone lit up again. A new post. "Caught in the rain together. Me Elise forever is endgame." Mia groaned, but deep down, a dangerous hope flickered. What if the internet wasn't entirely wrong? The next morning, Mia woke to a text from her best friend, Sam. "Dude, you're trending. Check X now." Her stomach dropped. She opened the app, and there it was, a flood of posts under Me Elise forever. A video edit of her adjusting Elise's coat collar at an event had racked up millions of views. The comments were relentless. "The chemistry is insane. Elise looks at her like she's the only person in the room." Mia's face burned. She wasn't just a driver anymore, she was a celebrity in a romance she hadn't signed up for. At HarperTech, Mia waited in the SUV, trying to focus on her job. Drive. Stay professional. Don't think about Elise's laugh, or the way she'd once asked about Mia's Marine days with genuine curiosity, or how her perfume lingered in the car long after she left. But the internet had cracked something open inside Mia, forcing her to confront feelings she buried under layers of discipline. Elise slid into the back seat at noon, her schedule packed with meetings. "To the Waldorf, please," she said, her tone brisk but warm. Mia nodded, pulling into traffic. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken questions. Mia wanted to ask if Elise had seen the posts, if she knew about the fandom. But how do you ask your boss if she's aware the world thinks you're in love? "Mia," Elise said suddenly, her voice cutting through the quiet. "Have you been online lately?" Mia's heart stopped. She glanced in the mirror, meeting Elise's eyes. They weren't accusing, but they held a weight Mia couldn't decipher. Yeah," Mia admitted. "It's a lot." Elise's lips quirked, almost a smile. "I saw the hashtag. MiaElise forever. Creative, don't you think?" Mia nearly swerved into a taxi. "You saw it." Her voice cracked, betraying her panic. Elise laughed, a rare, melodic sound that made Mia's chest ache. "I'm not oblivious, Mia," Elise said, leaning forward slightly. "The internet has a vivid imagination. But..." She paused, her gaze softening. "They're not entirely wrong about everything, are they?" Mia's breath caught. Was Elise teasing? Or was there something real behind her words? The car felt too small, the air too thick. Before Mia could respond, her phone buzzed again, a notification popping up on the dashboard screen. New MiaElise Forever fanfic dropped. 10K words of pure fire. Mia wanted to disappear. Elise raised an eyebrow, amusement dancing in her eyes. "Should I be worried about what's in those stories?" Mia forced a laugh, her face burning. "They're creative," she echoed weakly. But as she drove, her mind raced. Elise's words lingered, a spark in the dark. Not entirely wrong. What did that mean? For the first time, Mia allowed herself to wonder if the internet's obsession might be onto something. By the end of the week, the frenzy had escalated. Paparazzi camped outside Harpertech, snapping photos every time Mia opened the car door for Elise. Fans analyzed their body language, their outfits, even the way Mia's hand lingered near Elise's when passing her a coffee. Mia's inbox was flooded with messages, some sweet, some invasive. One fan had sent her a drawing of her and Elise kissing under a city skyline, and Mia couldn't bring herself to delete it. She was spiraling. Every interaction with Elise felt magnified, every glance a potential clue. Mia had always been good at compartmentalizing, word taught her that, but this was different. Her feelings for Elise were no longer a secret she could keep from herself. They were real, raw, and terrifying. On Friday, Elise asked Mia to drive her to a rooftop charity event in Soho. The city sparkled below, a sea of light stretching to the horizon. Mia stayed by the car, watching Elise work the room through the glass doors. She was magnetic, commanding attention without effort. But when Elise glanced back at Mia, her smile was private, meant only for her. As the night wound down, Elise approached, her coat draped over her arm. "Walk with me," she asked, her voice soft but firm. Mia nodded, heart pounding. They strolled along the rooftop's edge, the city humming below. "Mia," Elise said, stopping to face her. "This thing online. It's getting out of hand, isn't it?" Mia nodded, unable to meet her eyes. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Elise stepped closer, her hand brushing Mia's. "Don't apologize. It's not your fault." She hesitated, then added, "And it's not entirely unwelcome." Mia's head snapped up, her pulse racing. "What do you mean?" Elise's smile was small, vulnerable. "I mean, I've noticed you, Mia. Not just as my driver. You." The words hit like a tidal wave. Mia opened her mouth to respond, but the sound of a camera shutter broke the moment. A paparazzo had slipped onto the rooftop, snapping photos. Elise's face hardened, and she grabbed Mia's hand, pulling her toward the stairs. "Let's go." As they fled the flashing cameras, Mia's mind spun. Elise's hand in hers felt like a promise, but the world was watching, and the stakes were higher than ever. The internet had started this, but what happened next was up to them. The SUV sped through the city, headlights cutting through the late-night drizzle. Mia's hands trembled on the wheel, Elise's confession echoing in her mind. "I've noticed you, Mia. Not just as my driver." The weight of those words pressed against her chest, a mix of hope and fear. Beside her, Elise sat in the passenger seat, unusual for her. A break from the boss employee divide, her face illuminated by the glow of her phone as she scrolled through the latest Me Elise Forever posts. "They're relentless," Elise murmured, her tone a mix of amusement and exasperation. "Someone wrote a 50-chapter fanfic about us." 50 chapters, Mia? Mia forced a laugh, but her throat was tight. At least they're committed. She kept her eyes on the road, afraid to meet Elise's gaze. The paparazzo's photos from the rooftop were already online, fueling the frenzy. Headlines screamed, "HarperTech CEO and driver caught in romantic moment." The internet had taken their fleeting connection and spun it into a full-blown love story, and Mia wasn't sure where the fiction ended and her feelings began. Elise set her phone down, her fingers brushing the edge of the console, inches from Mia's hand. "You're quiet tonight," she said softly. "More than usual." Mia swallowed, her heart hammering. Just processing. How could she explain the storm inside her? Elise was her boss, a billionaire with the world at her feet. Mia was just a driver, a nobody from a small town who'd fought her way through life. The gap between them felt like a canyon. Yet Elise's words on the rooftop had built a fragile bridge. "Processing what?" Elise pressed, her voice gentle but insistent. She leaned closer, her perfume a mix of jasmine and something sharper filling the car. Mia's resolve wavered. "The internet. The photos. You." The last word slipped out before Mia could stop it. She cursed herself silently, gripping the wheel tighter. Elise didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of her lips. "Good to know I'm on your mind." Mia's face burned. She pulled into the underground garage of Elise's penthouse, the engine's hum fading as she parked. The silence was deafening. Elise didn't move to get out, and Mia felt the weight of her gaze like a physical touch. "Mia," Elise said, her voice low, "I meant what I said earlier. I see you. And I don't know what this is, but I want to find out." Mia turned, finally meeting Elise's eyes. They were unguarded, vulnerable in a way Mia had never seen. Her breath caught, and for a moment the world narrowed to just them. No cameras, no fans, no hashtags. Just Mia and Elise, two women on the edge of something terrifying and beautiful. Before Mia could respond, her phone lit up with a new notification. Me Elise Forever. New rooftop pics confirm they're in love. The spell broke. Elise glanced at the screen, her jaw tightening. "We can't escape them, can we?" she said, her voice tinged with frustration. Mia shook her head. "They're everywhere. I got a message today asking if we're planning a secret wedding in the Hamptons." Elise laughed, but it was sharp, edged with something darker. "They don't know us. They don't know you." She reached out, her hand resting on Mia's arm. The touch was light but searing. "But I want to." Mia's heart stuttered. She wanted to lean into the touch, to close the distance between them, but the weight of the world outside the cameras, the expectations held her back. "Elise, I'm just your driver. It's complicated." Elise's eyes softened. "You're not just anything, Mia. Don't let them or me make you feel that way." They sat there, the air thick with possibility, until Elise's phone buzzed with a work email, pulling her back to reality. She sighed, stepping out of the car. "Tomorrow then," she said, her voice a promise. "We'll figure this out." The next day, Mia arrived at HarperTech early, her nerves frayed. She'd barely slept, replaying Elise's words, her touch, the way her eyes seemed to see straight through her. But the real world was closing in. Her phone was a minefield of notifications. Some fans were sweet, sending heartfelt messages about how Me Elise Forever gave them hope, but others were vicious, accusing Mia of being a gold digger or worse. At noon, Elise slid into the back seat, her usual composure in place but her eyes softer. "Central Park," she said. "I need a break." Mia drove in silence, the park's greenery a stark contrast to the city's concrete jungle. They walked together, an unusual departure from their routine, the autumn leaves crunching under their feet. Elise seemed lighter here, away from the glass towers and flashing cameras. "Do you ever wish you could disappear?" Elise asked suddenly, her gaze fixed on a group of kids playing near the lake. "Just leave all this behind." Mia hesitated. "Sometimes. But then I remember I'd missed the city. And..." She trailed off, her courage faltering. "And..." Elise prompted, stopping to face her. Mia took a deep breath. "And you. Elise's smile was radiant, unguarded. Good answer. She stepped closer, her hand brushing Mia's. I've spent years building walls, Mia. Keeping people out. But you make me want to tear them down. Mia's heart raced, but before she could respond, a teenager with a phone darted out from behind a tree, snapping photos. Oh my God, it's them! The kid shouted, and within seconds, a small crowd gathered, phones out, voices buzzing with excitement. Elise forever had found them again. Elise grabbed Mia's hand, pulling her toward a quieter path. This is ridiculous, she muttered, but there was a spark in her eyes, like she was almost enjoying the chaos. Mia, though, felt exposed, her feelings laid bare for the world to judge. They ducked into a secluded grove, the sounds of the crowd fading. Elise didn't let go of Mia's hand. I'm sorry, she said, her voice low. This isn't fair to you. It's not fair to you either, Mia replied. You didn't ask for this. Elise shook her head. Maybe not. But I'm not running from it. Are you? Mia's throat tightened. She wanted to say no, to admit that she was falling for Elise, that the internet's obsession had only forced her to confront what she'd been denying. But fear of rejection, of the world's judgment, kept her silent. Elise's phone buzzed, breaking the moment. She glanced at it, her face darkening. It's my PR team. They want to issue a statement denying everything. She looked at Mia, her expression unreadable. What do you think we should do? Mia's heart pounded. A denial would end the frenzy, but it would also erase the fragile thing growing between them. I don't know, she admitted. But I don't want to lie. Elise nodded, her eyes searching Mia's. Then we won't. Not yet. As they walked back to the car, hands brushing but not quite holding, Mia felt the weight of their unspoken truth. The internet had started this fire, but only they could decide how it burned. The following week was a blur of chaos and stolen moments. Mia drove Elise to boardroom meetings and charity galas, but the space between them crackled with something new. Every glance, every accidental touch, felt like a confession. The internet's obsession with Elise forever only grew, with fan accounts dissecting their every move. A video of Elise laughing at one of Mia's dry jokes in a coffee shop had gone viral. Caption: This is what love looks like. Mia couldn't argue, but she also couldn't breathe under the scrutiny. At HarperTech, Mia waited in the garage, scrolling through X to distract herself. The posts were relentless and beautiful, like a poem about two souls finding each other in a crowded city, others cruel, accusing Mia of exploiting Elise's fame. She was about to close the app when a new message popped up from an anonymous account. You don't deserve her. Back off or you'll regret it. Mia's stomach churned. She'd faced worse in the Marines, but this felt personal, a knife aimed at her heart. Elise emerged from the elevator, her expression tense. We need to talk, she said, sliding into the back seat. Mia nodded, her throat tight, and drove to a quiet street near the Hudson River. The city's skyline loomed in the distance, a reminder of the world watching them. My PR team is pushing for a statement, Elise said, her voice steady but strained. They say the speculation is hurting HarperTech's stock. Investors are uncomfortable. Mia gripped the wheel, her knuckles white. What do you want to do? Elise leaned forward, her hand resting on the back of Mia's seat. I want to be honest. With them. With you. She paused, her eyes searching Mia's in the rearview mirror. But I need to know what you want, Mia. This isn't just about me. Mia's heart pounded. She wanted to say she was all in, that she'd face the cameras and the hate for a chance with Elise. But the anonymous message lingered, a shadow over her courage. I don't want to hurt you, she said finally. Your company, your reputation, it's everything you've built. Elise's face softened. Not everything. She reached out, her fingers brushing Mia's shoulder. You're part of my life now, Mia. Whether we like it or not. Mia turned, meeting Elise's gaze. The vulnerability there was disarming, a crack in the CEO's polished armor. I'm scared, Mia admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Not of you. Of everything else. Elise's hand moved to Mia's, squeezing gently. So am I. But I'd rather face it with you than alone. For a moment they sat there, hands clasped, the world outside fading. Mia wanted to freeze this moment, to hold on to the warmth of Elise's touch. But her phone buzzed, shattering the silence. Another message. You're a nobody. She'll never choose you. Mia yanked her hand away, her face burning. What's wrong? Elise asked, her brow furrowing. Nothing, Mia lied, shoving her phone into her pocket. Just more noise. Elise didn't push, but her eyes lingered, searching. We'll figure this out, she said, her voice firm. Together. That night, Mia sat in her apartment, staring at the anonymous messages piling up. The hate was escalating, some fans turning vicious as the Mia's Forever narrative spun out of control. She wanted to protect Elise, to shield her from the toxicity, but how could she when she was part of the story? The next morning, Elise asked Mia to drive her to a small cafe in Brooklyn, away from the paparazzi's usual haunts. They sat at a corner table, the air thick with the scent of coffee and unspoken words. Elise wore a simple sweater, her hair loose, looking less like a CEO and more like the woman Mia was falling for. I've been thinking, Elise said, stirring her coffee. About us. About what this could be. Mia's heart skipped. And Elise leaned forward, her voice low. I don't care what the internet says. I care about you. About what's real. She reached across the table, her hand covering Mia's. I want to try. Really try. Mia's breath caught. She wanted to say yes, to leap across the table and kiss Elise, to hell with the consequences. But the hate messages flashed in her mind, a reminder of the cost. What about your company? The investors? Elise's jaw tightened. They don't get to dictate my life. Not anymore. Before Mia could respond, a group of teenagers burst into the cafe, phones out, whispering excitedly. It's them, one shouted, and the cameras started flashing. Elise's hand tightened on Mia's, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she stood, pulling Mia with her, and faced the crowd. Enough, Elise said, her voice cutting through the noise. This is our lives, not your entertainment. The teenagers froze, chastened, and dispersed. Mia stared at Elise, awe and fear warring inside her. You didn't have to do that, she said. Yes, I did, Elise replied, her eyes blazing. I'm done hiding. As they left the cafe, hand in hand, Mia felt a shift. The world was still watching, but for the first time she didn't care. Elise was worth it. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Mia and Elise navigated their budding relationship under the internet's microscope, every moment scrutinized. They stole quiet moments, a walk in the rain, a late-night drive, each one a defiance of the chaos around them. But the hate messages kept coming, a dark undercurrent to the fans' adoration. Mia tried to ignore them, but each one chipped away at her resolve. One evening, as Mia drove Elise to a tech conference in San Francisco, the tension boiled over. Elise had been quiet all day, her phone buzzing with urgent messages from her board. Mia glanced at her in the rearview mirror, noting the strain in her eyes. Bad day? Mia asked, keeping her tone light. Elise sighed, rubbing her temples. The board wants me to address the rumors. They're threatening to pull funding if I don't stabilize my image. Mia's stomach twisted. Stabilize how? By denying everything, Elise said bitterly. By pretending you don't exist. Mia's hands tightened on the wheel. She wanted to fight, to tell Elise to tell the board to go to hell, but the words stuck in her throat. She was a driver, not a CEO. What right did she have to ask Elise to risk everything? Elise leaned forward, her voice soft but fierce. I'm not doing it, Mia. I won't let them erase you. Mia's heart swelled, but fear lingered. You could lose everything, she said quietly. Your company, your legacy. I'd rather lose it all than lose you, Elise interrupted, her eyes blazing. Mia pulled over, unable to focus on the road. They were on a quiet stretch of highway, the city lights distant. Elise climbed into the front seat, closing the distance between them. Mia, she said, her voice trembling. I'm falling for you. Hard. And I don't care what it costs. Mia's breath hitched. She reached out, cupping Elise's face, her thumb brushing her cheek. I'm falling for you too, she whispered. But I'm terrified. Elise leaned into her touch, her eyes closing. So am I. But we're in this together. They kissed, slow and tentative at first, then desperate, like they were drowning in each other's air. The world outside the board, the fans, the hate faded away. For the first time, Mia felt like they could face anything. Back in New York, the pressure intensified. A tabloid published a hit piece, calling Mia a distraction and questioning Elise's leadership. The stock plummeted, and Elise spent hours in crisis meetings. Mia waited in the car, her phone buzzing with threats. "You're ruining her life. Disappear." She confided in Sam, who urged her to fight back. "You love her, don't you?" Sam said over beers in a dive bar. "Don't let the haters win." Mia nodded, but doubt gnawed at her. Was she worth it? Could she really be enough for someone like Elise? The breaking point came at a gala in Manhattan. Elise, radiant in a black gown, asked Mia to be her date, not her driver. Mia wore a tailored suit, feeling out of place among the elite but grounded by Elise's hand in hers. The room buzzed with whispers, cameras flashing, but Elise held her head high, introducing Mia as someone special. As they danced, the world seemed to fade, but the moment was shattered when a reporter cornered them. "Miss Harper, is this relationship a publicity stunt?" he sneered. Elise's eyes flashed. "This is my life," she said, her voice steady. "And I choose Mia." The room erupted in murmurs, but Mia's heart soared. They left the gala hand in hand, the city lights a backdrop to their defiance. But as they reached the car, Mia's phone lit up with a new message. "You'll pay for this." Mia froze, her blood running cold. Elise noticed, her brow furrowing. "What's wrong?" Mia hesitated, then showed her the message. Elise's face darkened. "This has to stop," she said. "We're going to the police." Mia shook her head. "It's just words. I can handle it." But Elise was resolute. "No one threatens you. Not on my watch." The police took the threat seriously, tracing the worst messages to a single Sauersay, a disgruntled former Harper Tech employee with a grudge against Elise. The news broke the next day, shifting the narrative. Fans rallied behind Mia and Elise, flooding X with support. "Protect Mia Elise forever." The hate didn't vanish, but it was drowned out by love. Elise took a bold step, posting a statement on X. "My personal life is mine to live, not yours to judge. Mia is my partner, my choice, my home. Thank you to those who support us." The post went viral, and for the first time, Mia felt seen not as a driver or a scandal, but as Elise's equal. They moved forward together, carving out a life amid the chaos. Elise restructured her board, sidelining those who opposed her. Mia quit her job as a driver, taking a security role at Harper Tech to stay close to Elise without the power imbalance. They bought a small cabin upstate, a sanctuary from the city's noise, where they could be just Mia and Elise, not Mia Elise forever. One evening, as they sat by the cabin's fireplace, Elise took Mia's hand. "I never thought I'd find this," she said, her voice soft. "You make me braver." Mia smiled, her heart full. "You make me believe in happy endings." They kissed, the firelight dancing on their faces, and Mia knew they'd weathered the storm. The internet had started their story, but they'd written the Ndinga love that was real, resilient, and theirs. The world kept watching, but Mia and Elise had learned to tune it out. They were more than a hashtag, more than a viral moment. They were two women who'd found each other in a city of millions, against all odds, and that was enough. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.